Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive update on Rostermania going down last night, certainly from former Gen.G coach Chet, seemingly revealing all on what's happening on multiple of these teams. He says basically every single team in the entire world, presumably with the exception of the world champions, are going to be making a roster change. This includes Sentinels, this absolutely includes Gen.G. He doesn't believe that Demon 1 is going to stay on that roster. He heavily seems to be implying that maybe Sassy might be the one gone from Sentinels and they could be making a change as well. What should we expect to see over the coming days? Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Here's Zekken, by the way, on the Neon. And look, he's not going to be going anywhere from Sentinels, you would well think. But as we'll discuss in the coming minutes here, maybe anything is still possible. Bit of a back and forth here between Vanity and Boostio. And genuinely at this point, you can't guarantee any situation is going to be, you know, absolutely locked in going forward to next season. Vanity's gone from Cloud9, they're replacing him, and I certainly wouldn't be expecting Boostio to go anywhere from 100T, but you know, who knows what happens here. Now the world champions, you gotta think, you know, they're not going to be making any moves, are they? Let's be realistic at this point, right? Those you know, the Upper Gaming guys, unless somehow one of those players gets poached elsewhere, but just seems pretty unlikely. And this I thought was pretty interesting really just to go through, right? Because on the Sentinels comms, they, you know, we could see this where they were saying if they win against us, then it's because they deserve it and not because we lost ourselves or whatever, right? So that was kind of their mentality to get into the right headspace. The boys on the Edward Gaming team had a different mentality. They were asking each other to kind of hype themselves up. Is Sentinels good, Smoggy? And he says, no, if we lose it's because we're terrible, but not because they're good. So it's kind of funny to see like the opposite mentality. And now, you know, don't take this too seriously, right? This is what teams will say when they're kind of in the zone, they're trying to hype themselves up. I also kind of like this kind of, it's almost somewhat delusional mentality because clearly Sentinels are good, but what they're saying is, you know, they're trying to get themselves in a headspace where they feel the most confident they're going to be able to win. And it seems like they feel like that headspace is, we're the better team than these guys, they're terrible, we absolutely should win, and therefore, you know, we're going to execute on that. If you start to believe that your opponent can win because they're good, then maybe they will. I don't know. It's a mental game that you're playing here in part at the end of the day. This was interesting as well here from Baka, of course, because he used to be head coach for a couple of different teams, world champion coach with the Loud guys a couple of years ago, and this year he's looking for another option, right? He competed internationally in Counter-Strike and Paladins, of course ended up leading the VALORANT World Championship winning team in 2022, and then has been with MIBR for the last couple of years, but haven't got the results that they wanted. So he's looking for a new opportunity, wishing him the best. I think even Zekken was in the replies here saying that he is the man, so thought that was kind of nice to see. And just a good post really, I thought, here in general, because some people will say, oh, you know, free agent coach for the new season. He's looking at what his achievements are. Had a nice little graphic here made as well, saying what he's achieved, his results, speaking Portuguese, English, Spanish, and like a bit of Italian. So yeah, I thought it was actually really well put together. So wishing him the best in the near future as well. But let's talk about some Rostermania stuff, because this is an interesting comment here. I don't have a clip of this, but apparently Boo on stream was asked the question, what about Demon 1 to Fnatic, right? Because they're getting rid of Durka, we're pretty sure. They could bring him back, and if nobody forks up what they imagine to be a pretty sizable buyout for Durka, then I imagine it's not going to happen. But, you know, what if a trade situation was to occur and NRG were interested in Durka and they were to send Demon 1 the other way, maybe send a bit of money their way anyway, but, you know, say, okay, we'll give you this amount and this player for Durka, maybe that happens. And, well, Boo says, of course, of Heretics, I wish they'd send Demon 1 to Fnatic, that would be easier for us. Kind of saying like Demon 1 ain't really all that, he isn't a player that Durka is, and it would be, you know, easier competition in region if Demon 1 was to go to that team. So that's a pretty interesting entity. At the end of the day, Demon 1's a world champion and Boo isn't, so there is that, and obviously he was getting roasted for it somewhat in the replies. Also, Ascension in EMEA underway as of basically yesterday, concluding in a couple of weeks' time actually, and this was how it started off. So the group stages here for the Ascension side. These are your 10 teams as it stands. One of the teams, of course, going in that people were really looking at, of course, is the Mouse roster, and they did get the win yesterday against Saw in an absolutely epic best of 5. I mean, this was a banger series, or best of 3, sorry, but it felt like a best of 5 because it lasted so long. It was 18-16 map 1. The Icebox didn't go to overtime, but it was 13-11 the other way. And then the Sunset was 20-18. It was like a 4-hour, I think, best-of-3 series here, and an absolute grueler that eventually Mouse get the win on. So, crazy series, and well, congrats to Mouse for getting the early win, but of course still a long way to go in that tournament. But let's talk about some Rostermania stuff, because Ten's confirming he's on vacation in Japan, with Kaide will return around the 7th of September, and then he's going to get the streams back underway when he's back. However, when he returns, will the roster be the same as it presently is? That is the big question right now everywhere, and although many would say our Sentinels shouldn't change, they had a good season, which is obviously true. If other teams around them are changing and trying to get better, Sentinels may have to consider it themselves. And also at the end of the year, you know, they weren't quite good enough when it really mattered. And if you're not quite good enough when it really mattered, you've got to wonder what you might need to change to actually get there at the end of the day. Durka says, no drama with the players. The players are all good with each other. I saw people think there's drama because I didn't get a response from all the members we talked through WhatsApp. Not everything has to be on Twitter, right? So pretty much saying like, confirming, by the way, that he's not going to be returning to the team. I mean, clearly he's had conversations with the players and they've said, oh, you know, great teaming with you, Durka. Like, sorry, it had to be like this, but whatever. We're going to move on, make some changes. So, pretty much confirming Durka is going to be out the door at Fnatic unless no one pays for his buyout, and therefore they are saying, well, I guess we might as well bring him back. But let me share with you a couple of minutes here of Chet's stream yesterday talking about what's happening in Rostermania. Now, some comments from Ye as well on like his potential return, what he's eyeing up doing. But Chet went through a lot of rumors saying that loads of teams are going to change, including Sentinels, including NRG, of course.
Here's the thing that I found. Like, literally, low sense or high sense, it doesn't matter. I still hit headshots, like, either way. Like, somehow my headshot percentage has gone up on higher sense, so I don't know anymore. Whenever you're about to change this, ask yourself, is it the sense or is it you? That's all I say. I hope you come back to the scene. It would be nice. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully I can figure out a spot or a situation, but you know, you never know. Either way, like, if it's not this year, I'll just keep practicing and keep streaming. So either way, it doesn't bother me. It is what it is. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. I mean, it does a little. I mean, I do want to compete, but I mean, you can only control what you can control at the end of the day, right, boys? So it's like it's not worth like stressing about it, you know. At the end of the day, do you prefer playing back in NA? Preferably NA, like just because like obviously like I'm from like NA, but you know obviously I would do like APAC or EMEA. Hey, if you join team, what is your role? No idea. Maybe water boy.
If you can't lead, just tell how juicy the Rostermania drama. Or that. Yeah, I've heard. I know for sure there's gonna be some really S tier moves happening. Like, you guys are gonna be mind blown when you see some of these. Can you think of a single team that won't make any changes? I don't know. I feel like literally every team is gonna make a change. Sen will make a change for sure. Any imports coming? That I'm probably not too sure. I don't think any imports are coming. Any Brazilians leaving NA? What does that mean? Isn't there only one Brazilian NA team? Narrow back to NA? Yeah, 100%. Did G approach you? Yeah. Time to come home? If you know, you know. You're talking about GE. There's a lot of teams that are going to make changes. A lot of teams. Ethan started streaming too recently. He's fine, bro. Ethan's not getting cut ever. Where is Ye going? I don't know. He messaged me, but I didn't respond fast enough, so I don't know what happened. Crashies to Sen would be nice if Saucy retires / leaves. John QD does with Crashies? Dude, does he? I don't think any imports are coming to NA. Has any APAC team approached you yet? Like two APAC teams. Otter or Bonkar, what's more likely? Probably Bonkar. But Lev did great. Dude, I feel like no team is safe. How many 100 Thieves changes? Lots or little, if you can say. I think that's still up in the air. We won't really know until like October, I think, for that. What are the chances for D1 to stay on energy? Dude, I don't think that's gonna happen, guys. I'll be honest with you. If there's one thing I can assure you is that's not happening. Sinatra trying for any team? Nah. Where do you think Dirk will go? Whoever can afford him. That is an expensive buyout. Is Sinatra coming to you in C9? I have not talked to C9 once. Assistant analyst in GE? Dude, that's literally my dream job, to be assistant analyst for GE. I kinda wanna just beat energy. I feel like if and when I beat energy, like I'll be satisfied. It'd be like really satisfying. But I have no bad beef with the players. I just need to beat that org.
So he's expecting lots to happen around the world, and he reckons it's going to be pretty crazy, and I can't imagine that he's wrong with, well, the way things have gone so far. Quickly on NRG, the team, of course, that he used to coach, he also had some comment on EU, the fact that 100T, you know, they're not going to stay together, I well wouldn't imagine. We think the Crashies might be gone from NRG. He did say that Ethan is going to stay, and theoretically it might well be, you know, FNS, SOM, Ethan, Bonkar as the head coach, of course, and then as we saw rumoured at least yesterday. But, you know, the idea that he says that Demon 1 he thinks is going to be gone is absolutely fascinating because they bring him in for a season. My feeling was that, you know, it obviously wasn't working out with that roster before, but when they made the FNS and SOM change, maybe that's going to work. But also there was a feeling that the chemistry with Demon 1 wasn't there. If it's there with FNS, then sure, maybe it works. If it's not, then he's probably going to go, and Chet seems to think that he will go. But the Sentinel stuff was interesting because, you know, he was asked the question, are any Brazilians going to leave America? And he was like, well, surely that only applies to one Brazilian, right? Which really would be Sassy, at least from those teams, right? The teams from North America leaving those rosters. It would only be Sassy in that case, kind of indicating there might be a possibility there, especially when he said that Sentinels are making a change for sure. So, look, if we take him on his word, and maybe he doesn't know as much, but like the reality is that this offseason is going to be crazy, and I do believe it's more likely than not right now that Sentinels make some sort of a change. If you look at their roster, I mean, what sort of change do you make? You're not getting rid of, I mean, Tens is not going anywhere. Junkyt is not going anywhere. Zekken is not going anywhere. Zelsis surely can't be going anywhere. So the only ones to even look at, and Sassy played well this year and certainly towards the end of the year, but the only one to look at would be Sassy. And I guess then you wonder which side it might come from, right? Because there has been some theories for some time that, okay, maybe Sassy wants to go and team with other Portuguese speakers again, or, you know, go and maybe play with Aspas again, or return to Loud or something like that. And if that's true and Sassy's thinking about that kind of next step in his career, also there was some rumours that he was going to retire at some point. I don't know how realistic those potentially are, but that seems still to be the most likely change, if any, are going to be made over there. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, we saw yesterday that Crashies and Ethan both indicating something going on with that NRG roster, and Chet seems to have some idea as to what it might potentially be. Just to close out the video, right, this I thought was pretty funny. Billy Gaming, right? BLG set to side artists in 2025. So this is the type of, you know, we've seen lots of, this is a joke. We've seen lots of, obviously, Bates tweets over the last few days saying, oh, the roster's going to be this, the roster's going to be that. But lots of those rosters are like actually realistic, or, you know, potentially could be the case. Whereas on this one, you know, artist to Billy, I mean, could you imagine the scenes if this came true? But hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.